You would never go hiking and say, I'll only be happy when I get to the top of this mountain, would you? No, you'd have fun with your friends along the way. You'd enjoy the process of getting there. You wouldn't be so attached to the outcome. This episode is all about how to be more present in everything that you do, because the truth is you should be exactly where you are right now. And I know that might not be fun to hear, but I'm going to share with you some insights and some ideas on how you can adapt that into your life so that you actually feel present along the path to your biggest dreams and biggest goals. And this allows you to be even more present with your family and those that you love the most. Welcome to the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast. My name is Brad Bizjack. I'm a mindset strategist and coach, inspirational speaker, and creator of Appreciation Academy. And this is the podcast where you're going to learn how to maximize your life. You're going to learn how to elevate your mindset, your career, your relationships to a level beyond anything you ever thought possible. And this is all about how do we be more present? Because I have a firm belief that you're exactly where you need to be right now. Wherever is going on in your life, whether it's painful or happy or whatever it is, you're exactly where you need to be right now. And so there's a metaphor that I'd like to share with you to help illustrate this. And it's this idea of going on a hike. Now, when most people go after their dreams, they approach it in a way that's counterintuitive. They'll say things like, I'll be happy when I get to the top, or I need to get up there and I can't rest until I do. Let's just think about those two psychologies alone. I'll be happy when I get to the top. Well, that makes the entire process of hiking miserable, and you won't enjoy it, you won't appreciate any of the scenery around you, right? It doesn't make it, you don't feel good in the process of doing that. You feel exhausted, you feel overwhelmed, you feel less than, right? And if we need to get to the top in order to feel something, then we're missing the whole point of going after our goals. And plus, if we said, I'll only rest when I get to the top, think about what that does. If you're going on a hike and you only rest when you complete it, will you get there? Unlikely. Your legs will probably be extremely dead. You haven't taken water, you haven't taken food breaks, any of that stuff. You won't actually be able to get up to the top. So a lot of people start these hikes in life, whether it's going after a big goal like earning $1 million in your business, or whether it's creating an amazing, beautiful marriage, or whatever it is, these big goals, these big dreams. And they expect an outcome now and are frustrated that that outcome isn't here yet. And it's like the equivalent of going on a hike and saying, I'll be happy when I get to the top. I refuse to follow the trail that life is giving me, and I'm going to pave my own path. I'm not going to listen to any of the guidance I'm getting from the universe on this path. And I'm just going to go through all the bushes. I'm going to find my own way there because the straightest shot to the top, that's the way to do it. And that's how most people go about it. And then no wonder they trip, they fall, they break an ankle, they fall off a cliff and die. And even if they magically get to the top, they've probably been scratched in the eye so many times they can't even see the beauty around them. They're too exhausted, they're too burnt out to even enjoy the top of that hike, the top of that mountain. But when you go hiking, you don't do that, do you? You start at the beginning of the trail and you say, I'm so excited to get to the top. I can't wait to get there. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. I'm so excited about it. And I'm going to go on this amazing hike with my friends. Now that hike might have ups and downs. It might have some wildlife, some scenery. You'll actually be able to see it, but you're going to have fun with your friends along the way. And so my challenge to you, the reason I bring this up is because if you want to feel more present in the day-to-day life, stop living your life thinking that you should be there already. Start realizing that you're exactly where you need to be right now. What if the purpose of going after these goals, these dreams, isn't for the outcome itself, but it's for the person you become along the path to that outcome? If that were true, which I believe it is, and every bit of it was your objective was personal growth, then let's say that hill, that trail that you choose to follow is going downhill. The summit's over there in the wrong direction and you're going downhill away from that summit. If that's true and the trail is going down, if your objective is personal growth, meaning someone on your team quits, you lose income, you are at a transition point in your business where everything is changing, right? Whatever it is, you learn something instead of hate something. You see life as happening for you and not to you, and you stay on that trail. And what happens with that trail? Doesn't it eventually get you to the top? Of course it does. If you've ever been hiking, the trail goes a million different directions, but it eventually gets you to where you want to go. What if that trail was avoiding a cliff? What if that trail was taking you to an area where you're actually going to get there faster than if you tried to go about it with just saying, I need to get there now? So the whole point is that people say, I should be there now. And this causes them to not be present in what they're doing to try to get there, right? They're living only in the land of completion instead of every step they're taking along the way. And what this also causes is for them to not be present with those they love the most. They're not present with their family, they're not present with their kids, because they're living in the world of, I'm not there yet with the areas of my life that I need to be. And so I want you to ask yourself, if you have a mindset right now of, I should be further along in the journey, right? If you have big goals that you're trying to accomplish and you're not there yet, do you feel like you should be there already? In your marriage, do you think that it should be in this place by now? And what this does is it keeps your mind focused in places that aren't serving you. You tend to beat yourself up more. You start saying things like, why haven't you figured it out yet? Or, of course, no one wants to join me, or whatever it is. There's limiting self-talk that shows up there. And it starts to make you feel like getting to the top is so much harder than it needs to be, because you're making it harder than it needs to be. If you just follow and accept the trail that life is giving you, it doesn't mean you don't sometimes go faster on that trail. It means that you follow and you trust whatever the world is giving you right now. You trust that you're being guided on the path towards your dreams. Then what ends up happening is you realize that every step serves you. Every step serves you, even the downhill steps. They serve you. And so what we need to adopt is a mindset that there is a lesson in everything. There's a lesson in everything you're facing. And what I want to share with you, I did an episode on this months ago, but I want to bring it up again because at this time of year, it's really easy to get frustrated with life not changing yet. We see all these other people that are motivated, excited, trying to do new things. And it feels like it's almost like this push lawnmower instead of a riding lawnmower, right? It seems like everyone else is just riding around doing a great job, but you're trying to get this thing started, you're yanking on that chain, and it's not working. So there's a metaphor that I want to bring to you called feathers, bricks, and trucks. And before I tell you what it is, I want to tell you briefly about a free opportunity where you can discover why some people seem to effortlessly succeed without stress, and other people struggle for years and constantly feel overwhelmed. Have you ever noticed that? Some people seem to just crush it and go after their big dreams and big goals, and they seem to have an amazing quality of life. And other people feel so overwhelmed and frustrated and beat down by life. There's a free opportunity for you where you can discover why that is, and it's called the What's Your Unique Success Archetype Quiz. And it's going to show you how you can eliminate any of the blocks preventing the success that you deserve. You're going to get the insights that you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses of your mindset profile so you can succeed faster than ever before. It's linked up just below this. It's totally free, and it's going to help tremendously with the topic today. And you see me talking about this a lot. It's because I know that this works. It's been tested on thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and it will help you as well. So take that quiz. It's called What's Your Unique Success Archetype? It's linked up just below this. You can also find it at quizzes.bradbizjack.com. It will help you tremendously when it comes to trying to get to your ultimate dreams and goals and feeling present along the way to make it happen. And so if our objective is to be present, to be more present with those that we love, we need to understand this metaphor that life is always trying to teach us a lesson. And so there's a metaphor called feathers, bricks, and trucks. Now, what does that mean? When life is, I have a belief that life is always rigged in your favor, that life is always set up for you to get the best outcome if you pay attention, if you learn the lesson that life is trying to give you. Most people don't learn the lesson life's trying to give them, which is why they end up in a stressed out spot. So I believe life is always rigged in my favor. I believe life is always happening for me and not to me. I believe that I'm being guided. Even if there's a painful thing, there's a lesson in it. Now, with that psychology, I want to teach you this metaphor that I learned from a man named Scott Harris. It's called feathers, bricks, and trucks. So life wants to teach you something, right? Because life has your best interests in mind. And so what life does is takes a feather and it does it with it. It says, hey, you should probably pay attention to this area of your life. You should probably improve this one area. You should probably work on this one area. You should probably look up and see this. This is what I'm trying to teach you right now. But because it's just a little feather dusting, what do? We brush it off. We don't even notice it. And so life will do that again, and we'll just, I should do that. And it might be something like, oh, I should lose weight, right? I should exercise more, something like that. Life's trying to teach us a lesson, to lead us to a beautiful life. So we just dust it off, and it does it a bunch of times, but we don't really pay attention. Think about the area of your life right now where you've thought to yourself, man, I should change that, but you haven't. And so what life does is says, I really need to get your attention. This is important for you to learn. This is going to lead to the life that I know that you're meant to have. And so life's like, I got to get your attention. I got to startle you. I got to make sure that you understand this lesson so that you can have a great quality of life. So what life does is it writes you a little note. and says, "Dear person, here is the lesson that you should be learning. This is the meaning I want you to take from this. This will serve you tremendously in your life over the long term. Love, life, the universe, God, whatever you believe in," right? And so it writes this note and it ties it around a brick, and it takes this brick and it throws it through your living room window, and glass shatters everywhere. It scares your family. You think you're being robbed. It seems terrifying. Glass goes everywhere. Your window's broken. And what most people do in that situation is that they look at the broken window and they say, that shouldn't have happened. This window shouldn't be like this. I should have a window intact, but no, there's glass all over my carpet. My kids can't play in here. This is unsafe. This isn't fair for me. When there's a note sitting in your living room that if you were to learn that lesson, it would prevent this from ever happening again. But you refuse to look at that note. You're only looking at what went wrong, the painful piece of your life. And so in the relation of, to relate this to what we did earlier with health, right? If the feather dusting is, you should probably exercise more. You probably eat healthier. Well, maybe the brick is you having to go on high blood pressure medication or cholesterol medication or something like that, right? Something a little bit more intense, something that makes you perk up a little bit and go, wow, I should pay attention to this. Well, what most people do is they think, well, that's not fair. That's just what I have to deal with now. This isn't cool. And so they tape up their window, and life's like, I gotta get your attention. So life throws another brick through your window, but most people don't pay attention. And now, over the course of time, they start to build up this story in their head that it's not fair for them, and it's harder for them, and other people don't understand their situation. And what ends up happening is they like to get triggered a lot. Have you ever noticed that? You ever notice that people like to get triggered all the time? Trigger just means that you have a reaction to something. That's all a trigger is, which means that you're normal, right? Everyone has triggers, everyone has them, but the point is that when these things happen, these bricks come up over and over and over again, then it's kind of like if I were to rub a cat hair on your skin, and you wouldn't notice it. It might tickle a little bit. But if you had an open wound and I rubbed that cat hair even lighter than I did before, it would cause you immense pain. Well, the same thing happens here, right? So this window's been broken so many times, and these people are not looking at the note sitting in their living room, and they start developing a story that it's not fair for them. And everything starts to affect them. The littlest thing can set them off. Some comment that someone meant nothing bad about could set them in ways that make them overreact and feel negative and feel victim-minded, when really that's not what it's meant to do. And so these people, what they'll do is they'll start to look at all their other neighbors and see all their windows intact and be like, it's not fair, their window's intact, their window's good, this isn't fair to me, why is this happening to me? And they live in the world of protection. Now they're not being present with their kids, they're not focused on the life they want to build, they're focused on making sure that no one throws a brick through their window anymore. And they don't really live a high quality of life. And so this happens over and over and over again, and life's like, I have to get your attention. I need to get you to pay attention to this. This is so important. And so what life does is it takes a can of red paint, and it rents a Mack truck, like an 18-wheeler, and it paints the lesson on the front of the Mack truck, and it floors it for you. And just before it runs you over, it blares its horn, so you have to turn and look at that lesson right before it hits you so you remember. And this might be the example of having a heart attack, right? Hey, you should probably check out your weight. Oh, you're on high blood pressure meds. Oh, I'm gonna have a heart attack, right? Not always, but this would be an example. And people end up in the hospital. Now, typically they have a wake-up call in that situation. When something intense happens, causes them enough pain, they actually wake up to the lesson life is trying to teach them. But a lot of times it doesn't happen. And people go through their life with a victim mindset, thinking life is happening to them instead of life happening for them. And this is what happens if we live in the land of I should be there by now, or it should be different. When you live there, you miss out on what you can change now because you're so focused on how it's not fair to you or how it should be different that you don't even look at what your current actions could be. And what happens is you start to reject the present moment. All the things that are happening around you that can serve you, you start to reject it. You don't even look at it the same. You don't take a moment to be grateful for it. You don't appreciate it. You just live in where you should be by now. And what happens is that even when you're with the people that you love the most, you're not present. You're not fully there. You're not with them in the moment because you're living in the world of what's wronged you in your life. And so the whole point of all of this is to let go of this mindset that you should be in a different place. If you want to really be more present, It's appreciating where you are now. You should be exactly where you are now. Life will continue to teach you the lessons that you need to learn to live the life that you're meant to live. It's gonna keep teaching you. The lessons that life is teaching you get louder and louder and louder until you listen. So when would now be a good time to adopt a mindset that I'm exactly where I need to be? How is this helping me? How is this transforming me? How is this taking me to the next level of my life? When you look at it through that perspective, you see that it's happening exactly for you, exactly as it's meant to. You're exactly where you need to be right now, my friend. Life is happening for you, not to you. And when you learn how to master that, life gets a lot easier very, very quickly, even if your circumstances don't change yet. So I hope you found value in this episode today. Make sure you screenshot it, you share it with your audience so we can serve more people, help them to break through the next level of success and mindset. Give us a rating and review if you would, and remember to take the What's Your Unique Success Archetype quiz. You're going to discover why some people seem to effortlessly succeed without stress, while other people seem to struggle for years to barely get by and they constantly feel overwhelmed. It's going to be incredibly powerful, it's creepy accurate, and will help you tremendously. So I hope that this episode served you today. Thank you so much for tuning into the Path to Mindset Mastery podcast. My name is Brad Bizjack. Go out there today and every day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face. I'll see you next week.